Okay, hello Jonah.
Hello, Connor. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to episode 11 of Album Check, and we're talking about Phoebe Bridgers' Punisher, which is exciting. This was
Yes.
your favorite album of 2020?
Yeah, it was. I like really sad guitar music, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, this was number 2 for me last year, so it's safe to say we're big fans.
Hell yeah.
I saw a YouTube comment that described Phoebe Bridgers as emo Brie Larson,
Yeah, that's kind of true.
which is kind of true. I find it very, very funny. Yeah, so she's kind of singer, songwriter. How did you find out about Phoebe?
I think it was Fantano, to be honest, which is not a very interesting answer.
Mm.
But sometimes you just go through and click on an album he's reviewed, and he's like, "Oh, that seems good," and then I listened to it and was like, "That, yeah, I really did enjoy that."
See, I remember because I discovered her in HMV. You know the way sometimes in HMV they have little placards
Yeah.
that are written by the staff that say this movie's thing.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
There was one of those for her first album, which the name's escaping me, something about smoke. And
Oh, yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue as well. But anyway,
I remember listening to that and going, "Oh, that's pretty good," and then forgetting about it.
Mm.
And then I feel like maybe you went, "Oh, you should listen to Punisher."
possibly.
And I
Actually,
got
yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, this is real good."
yeah, this one's awesome.
You know, before we get into the actual album, I find it quite strange how, because I was doing research and things, you can find videos of her playing like live at like 14 on YouTube,
Really?
and I'm like, realizing that this is now a generation where you can, as we get older and time progresses, all your favorite artists, you're probably going to be able to find videos of them
Yeah, yeah,
performing when they're like young. You've no videos of like Paul McCartney at age 12
yeah.
playing
It
guitar.
just seemed like a god from the get-go.
This kind of appeared fully formed sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's kind of cool. You can kind of see how your artists kind of
Develop and
do come from somewhere. It is really weird though. You're like, oh my god.
yeah. That is strange. I'm excited to see how that, because obviously it'll become more prominent as we move forward. So yeah, that's exciting.
But let's get into the album, and we start with kind of DVD menus, more of an intro than.
Can I just mention the album cover quickly? Because
Oh yeah, go for it.
this is one of probably my favorite album covers ever.
Oh really?
Like, yeah, the neon lighting does so much for me, and just the color scheme, the like dark blue, the black and the red, and the skeleton costume is such striking imagery. Like, that is stunning to me.
There was some hate comment I saw one time about this guy like giving off about how much he hates. He's like, if I see one more skeleton costume, because like people go to the concerts and stuff, and like they wear the same outfit.
It's awesome though. It just looks absolutely stunning. That's like easily in my top 5 album covers. For
Oh
sure.
really? Damn. I mean,
Yeah,
I like it, but okay, yeah, there you go. But yes, DVD menu, which I think is a great title for this kind of song, because it very much does give that kind of vibe. That kind of
I didn't even think about that. I just thought about it because like it's an opening track, but it does sort of feel like that for sure.
I guess weirdly in a way, in the age of streaming, that's quite retro. The idea of having a kind of menu that kind of, because they often have like music and things that kind of sets the tone or the vibe of whatever you're going to be watching, or in this case listening to, which it does I think very well. It's quite ambient, there's a little bit of violin,
it's creepy, man.
Yeah, things like aren't quite right with the world.
That bass line is kind of haunting, and the strings too, like you said, and it just sets up the atmosphere. My favorite part of it is you have these creepy like reversed sounds. I don't know what it's of.
I love that when they do it.
It's just like kind of hints that something's a little off, but you can't tell why,
But I think haunting's the kind of sums this album up very well. But as we get into garden song, which
this is the best one. In my
really
opinion. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely up there. And it's weird because this whole thing sounds kind of like the Mac Miller we talked about a couple weeks ago.
I mixed up Mac Miller and Macklemore in my head when you said that, and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
We did thrift shop, Jonah. But like Mac Miller, this sounds so like underwater as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I heard a thing about how her like. Cause have you heard her speaking voice?
It's very different.
It's quite deep compared to her singing voice.
Yeah, yeah. All the comments on the interviews of her are like, I did not expect her to sound like that. It's really, really interesting.
But I saw this thing from a guy much smarter than me talking about how, because she sings quite high pitched, the frequencies are a lot higher, which leaves a lot more space and kind of the more mid tones for the for all these other instruments. That gives it that kind of distance and more like wide ranging.
It feels like her vocals and the instrumentation are quite separate, and I don't mean that as like a diss. I mean that in a good way. It's like there isn't much in terms of high frequencies in the instrumentation, but her voice kind of fills
that gap.
Yeah, exactly. This song is just beautiful. It's like a pulsating feeling it has, as it's like the kick drum sort of pierces through the guitar, that like 4 to the floor kick drum pattern, and it gives this pulsating underwater feeling that you're speaking about, and I love it so much.
There's just to circle back to touch upon that kind of distance between the vocals and the sound. To me, it sounds very pretentious, but it kind of sounds like you that kind of disconnect between like your brain and your body being kind of different places.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, that little fingerstyle riff is lovely. That there's something in the water line. I always think of Alex Jones talking about like I'm turning the friggin' frogs gay. That whole
interestingly, like I mentioned before loads of times, it's always sound pretty much in production that carries an album for me. I can not have a clue what they're talking about and still enjoy an album if it sounds good, but just it for me, I really latch onto the lyrics of this one, not because of any like resonant themes or anything, but I just love the way the imagery that she paints with her words. Like, I don't know how, but I'm taller. It must be something in the water. Like, there's something really sort of unsettling and also sort of nice about that statement. I can't articulate it well, but I really latch onto the way she does that on this album.
She's great lyrics. I mean, there's a line here, the doctor put her hand on my liver. It says my resentment's getting smaller. Again, much smarter person than me on Genius probably wrote this out about how, your liver deteriorates with kind of alcohol abuse. And kind of this idea of not turning to kind of alcohol or other substances to cope as much.
Yeah.
So, because your resentment is getting just really clever kind of word painting. Again, Phoebe's also great for people like us who don't know what they're talking about, in that she has kind of, in interviews, gone through all of the songs and said what they're about. And this one, I think, again, has a really kind of great theme to it, which I didn't really pick up on the lyrics, but she said about how, sort of about this idea of kind of how you think kind of influences how you see the world. There's enough, if you think the world is a bad place, there is enough that you can find to justify that thought process, or vice versa. And I guess that, to me, connects why it's kind of called Garden Song, that kind of idea of, you kind of, what you grow in your brain, whatever you're feeding, whatever you're cultivating.
Yeah. See, that makes complete sense. I also think there's a strong sort of growing up theme to this song. There's that line, I grew up here till it all went up in flames, except the notches in the door frame. Like the things that happened there, the way that she grew there, even if it disappears, that all still kind of stays with her and is a part of her. And I am a sucker for like themes of growing up and stuff, so I love that.
Yeah, great song. Great kind of first proper number.
For sure.
But then we get Kyoto, which is
more upbeat. Maybe not happier, but more upbeat.
I mean, this is one of the few songs that really has a kind of real prominent drum beat to it. That really does.
At least one with some pace and
kind of does give it a real like backbone to it. I saw an interview that the fact it is more upbeat, it was a conscious decision to kind of, the producers were like, we need something a little more rockier to kind of break up the album.
Just stop it being completely miserable.
Yeah. Despite how sad this song still is.
Yeah, this song is not happy at all. I think it's about a relationship with her father. At least that's part of it. I don't know what you got from it.
Part of what she said about it is hating where you are, even when it's what you previously wanted or where you wanted to be. So I think she talked about kind of, being at home and wanting to be on tour, and then kind of being on tour and literally being in Kyoto and being like, oh god, I want to go home, and then you go home and want to be you never quite get, even if you get what you want, you're never quite happy.
I think everyone has a sort of tendency to romanticize the things that they don't have, and when you get them, you're like, oh, it's not actually that cool. But yeah, I think that she's sort of detailing the rocky relationship with her father. Like there's some sort of positive memories that she presents, like what she said, remember getting the truck fixed when you let us drive it. 25 felt like flying. That's a gorgeous way to paint that. But also the fact that she mentions he called on her brother on his birthday, but he missed it by 10 days. So it's sort of like bittersweet in that way.
Again, just great like word painting. I love that line.
Word painting. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah, they still got payphones. It cost $1 a minute. Just kind of a great way of characterizing a place by focusing on a small thing.
She said she completely made that up, that line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake. Right, okay. Well, it sounds good. There's horns in this, which are like beautiful. Kind of
played by someone from Bright Eyes. I don't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I don't remember which member, but not that I know their names anyway.
I just know Conor Oberst. But the horns kind of tease as well, set up for use later on the final track. And I love that little it's a pocket piano, that little like synthy do. This the kind of main.
I can't actually hear that in my head.
It's the very first. I'm not the very opening.
Oh yeah, the high pitched. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, lovely song.
The chorus is amazing too. So catchy.
The music video is also very funny if you've seen it. It's lots of green screeny.
I know she filmed it in her garden because of the pandemic. What's next? Punisher. Title track. Yeah,
this is another great song. Are you aware how she's explained what Punisher means?
Yeah, it's like the fans that just won't kind of shut up.
Yeah.
And leave you alone.
Yeah, so it seems that Phoebe Bridgers is a massive Elliott Smith fan, which is kind of well documented. And yeah, Punisher is someone who is kind of well-meaning fans, but kind of
overbearing,
and you're like, okay, right, come on. I guess this song is about her fear that she would like be a Punisher to Elliott Smith.
Oh,
who would you be a Punisher for if there was some famous person? Who would you be like scared of? Kind of having that person who went like rolled their eyes and like, oh god, this guy's
probably Kanye.
Kanye.
Yeah. What about you?
Bo Burnham.
Oh yeah, I can see you and Bo Burnham getting on though. I can see that for sure.
Well, I don't know. I don't pretend like I know him, but massive Bo Burnham fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That checks. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting the perspective on this song because obviously, like, as now she's pretty big now. Like a lot of people have heard of her, so she probably has her own fair share of quote unquote Punishers. So to flip that and like admit that she would do the exact same thing is really, really interesting, I think. And it's sort of empathizing with them, but she's also sort of dissing them and herself in the process.
Yeah, showing you can see kind of both sides of it. And it's interesting as well because she had a tweet about how Elliott Smith is kind of almost a fictional character for her because obviously never
died before she was born.
Yeah, never met her. So that kind of just holding someone up in just such high regard.
Like you could not possibly know him in any capacity.
But then there's obviously that line in the chorus. Oh, I don't have the lyrics up. What is it? Save me. What if I told you I feel like I know you, but we never met. There's that kind of weird parasocial relationship we kind of have with artists.
Yeah. Like, sometimes when a song just hits at the right moment, it feels like it was written for there and then, even though it absolutely was not. Like, it's just random, but it feels sort of undeniable sometimes.
I understand how you sing this song are and feel, and I know who you are, but they have like no idea you exist.
It's a very small slice of the.
And this is just a beautiful song. Kind of
It's
going through that.
It's so just sonically, it's miserable.
That's so
It's
slab
like,
piano.
oh my god. Yeah,
I get no percussion to the song at all.
Yeah, and that really helps with the melancholic atmosphere. My favorite thing is the strings that just fade in and out throughout the track. They're not constantly present and they're not constantly gone. They're just sort of brewing in the background.
Yeah, weirdly textured.
Yeah, and like that final 25 to 30 seconds where it's just the strings and the voice are like absolutely stunning.
I mean, that kind of wouldn't know where to start, wouldn't know where to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
My favorite line on this is a copycat killer with a chemical cut. She's sort of saying like, I feel like I copy Elliott Smith entirely, which is a criticism that's leveled against her quite regularly. I'd argue she's better than Elliott Smith, but I ain't trying to start beef with no one. Next up, we have Halloween.
Again.
Was that a not positive noise you just made?
Oh, no.
Okay,
no.
good, because I was about to fight you.
No, again, this is like great. Again, just she's such a good writer from a lyrical standpoint. I mean, that kind of opening. I hate living by the hospital. The sirens go all night. I used to joke that if they woke you up, somebody better be dying.
Yeah, it's so vivid and specific that it just feels completely genuine.
Yeah, like it was just that was lifted from somewhere.
Exactly, yeah. Like you can tell she's thinking of a very specific kind of moment in time or series of moments,
Again, I think this song it's very much about a dead relationship. So they're kind of sort of aware that they're dead, but then the genius of kind of calling it Halloween, setting it during Halloween, where that's when everyone's dressing up and kind of pretending. And it's like, can we at least pretend that we're working or happy or that everything's okay?
But there's also the sinister aspect of Halloween where people are pretending, but it's like it's a bit off. It's not quite right because you have these demons and creepy, spooky stuff. This is some of my favorite. That chorus is probably my favorite one on the album. I think that's really clever way to present that idea.
Yeah, I mean, again, that really kind of drawn out. Maybe it's Halloween. Again, haunting is the word you used earlier. I think really applies here. It sounds beautiful. The kind of the drums on this feel really bassy. They're not providing any sort of beat. They're just kind of accenting very specific moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Really well done. And then you have Connor Oberst from Bright Eyes kind of singing at the end here, which again really kind of adds that whole relationship thing, just bringing in that kind of male voice. And
they both sound pain, or both performances sound painful.
Yeah.
The strings on this, they're sort of off kilter, or maybe it's a synth. I don't know. I love when instruments sit in an uncanny valley where you're just like, what is that? Like it could be one of several things. And they are really creepy and feel Halloweeny to me. Halloweeny. That's definitely a word. I am articulate.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, the imagery is just great. It feels so genuine, and that's what great singer songwriters do. It doesn't feel put on.
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily feel so written.
At least on Spotify, this is the least listened to song on the album, which I think is criminal because I think is one of the best personally.
Damn, that's shocking.
Yeah. Chinese Satellite, track 6. This again, more fantastic imagery. She has a way of like painting very depressing scenes in a very I don't know where I'm going with this. We're gonna have to edit this down.
It's I think I sort of know what you're getting at. She's able to kind of, again, do what kind of great artists do, is by focusing on something kind of small or specific, and using that to kind of talk about a sort of larger idea or feeling.
Exactly.
So I guess this one again is really talking about faith, or kind of lack thereof, wanting to believe in something, like a god, something, an alien, just some sort of higher power.
It's this song is very nihilistic.
Yeah,
and I think there's also, it's sort of implied that she sort of craves this this higher power because of the loss of a loved one, and
okay.
to, like, for there not to be one is to admit, like, I'm never going to see that person again in any spiritual capacity, or physical or spiritual capacity, and it's just completely over.
But the fact that that, like, I want to believe, but I look at the sky and I feel nothing. So even wanting that isn't enough. You just can't. And again, what we were talking about earlier with kind of tying it to larger things, that looking at the stars and wishing on a Chinese satellite is just really
it's depressing and unnatural. And no, I get what you mean.
Because, like, stars are kind of, everyone looks at the stars with a sense of hope and wonder, and they're beautiful, and there's nothing there. It's just a big hunk of metal in the sky, sort of. Not romantic.
No, exactly, not at all. It's like almost depressing. My favorite part of the production is these like little radio snippets, and it's like the transmissions that are passing through the satellite. And there's these, again, reversed vocal swells. It makes things sound off kilter and slightly unsettling, even when the rest of the instrumentation is sort of ethereal and beautiful.
I just want to touch about that with the radio noises, because completely unintentionally, this album, this was released in 2020 in a pandemic, and has this sort of feeling of things not being quite right with the world, that there's just something slightly wrong. And obviously, kind of, it was released into a time where everything is going fucking crazy, and it managed to hit that kind of zeitgeist so well, and that kind of feeling so well, and that kind of radio chatter again really adds to that feeling, I think.
It's like that line earlier in the album, like, stare at the chemtrails or something like that. It's like that thing you were saying before, latching on to that sort of depressing thing that people think all these chemtrails are like poisoning us and whatnot, and tying that to a larger picture, which is the state of the world. So that's definitely a recurring theme.
As much as we're talking about how she uses this image to talk about things, can you explain the "I'll never be your vegetable" line?
No, I was wondering the exact same thing. I have absolutely no idea, not a clue.
Like,
and what's annoying is, like, she has explained a lot of the lyrics specifically on this album. Like, people tweet them at her, and she gives a reasoning, and no one's got to ask about the vegetable line. Like, what?
It's very handy, though. It's literally like, so Phoebe, what's this line about? And it's one thing. It's like, oh yeah, so this is about my, like, very specific, relatable experience that happened to me. And it's like, yeah, it just kind of sounded cool.
Like, I don't know what it means.
I don't know. It still sounds beautiful. I love at the end that chorus. It kind of ascends, but you never really get that payoff that you're almost kind of reaching
tension
for.
with no release.
The bridge is beautiful. Everything sort of drops out. That electric guitar falls out, and you just kind of get the strings. Again, talked about it a million times, but sounds great here. And then when it comes back in at the end, just adds a little drama and tension to it. And I guess the idea of looking up a Chinese satellite kind of ties in. The imagery I think of is that of the album cover as well, just kind of because she's sitting looking up at the sky in the middle of some desert somewhere. It's just great.
It's definitely connective. This next one, Moon Song, is probably my least favorite one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's not unpleasant or problematic in any way. It's more that there's nothing that stands out, which most of the tracks on here have for me.
Yeah, see, this is the kind of real tricky thing about this kind of singer-songwriter with guitar sort of music. Very, very easy for it all to sound very samey. And what's really great about this album is, it has a consistent feel to it, but song to song has enough kind of changing it up so that it feels kind of interesting and different. This is the one where it doesn't succeed as well at that for me. I still like it.
Exactly, yeah. It's not unpleasant. It's just indistinct, and honestly, I'd say that about the next track as well, a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, there's that line about Eric Clapton about hating the Tears in Heaven, but being sad his son died.
I love the line after that. We thought about John Lennon until I cried. Like when a relationship is sort of, it's not really working, like under the surface, and it takes something small to just push it over the edge. Like fighting about John Lennon, like obviously it's completely trivial, anyone's opinion on John Lennon, but that's kind of what like is the final straw.
I hadn't thought about it that way. I had seen, again, this sounds quite pretentious, that apparently Phoebe is the Latinized name of the Greek word for Titan, which means moon.
Oh yeah,
it's a moon song,
possibly related.
So she would have the idea of giving all of herself to this person, which is kind of interesting.
Is it me, or does the outro of this song become slightly more optimistic? Like the sick and you're married and you might be dying, and then that line, but you're holding me like water in your hands. It feels like the music sort of lifts and becomes lighter then, and she's like, even though there's all these troubles, they're both still trying to make it work, you know?
I hadn't noticed that, but I probably would, if I listened to it again, I would take your word for it. But yeah, this one's grand.
A low light.
By no means a bad song. By no means a bad song. Yeah. And then we get Savior Complex. See, Savior Complex works better for me.
Okay. It works better, but it is still not quite up to scratch with a lot of the rest of the album.
You get all those Static Radio songs again, which we talked about before. I don't have a lot to say about this song. Yeah, I guess it feels pretty straightforward.
She has a savior complex.
Yeah, as the title suggests, kind of wanting to fix damaged people, and yeah, they're just going kind of straight through that. Nice lines like "Baby, you're a vampire. You want blood, and I promised." The idea of, like, literally kind of the person sucking the life out of you, which is a problem of the savior complex.
Yeah. Musically, this one does sound gorgeous, and I like the fact that there's no chorus. I enjoy.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed.
Like, just slightly off song structures when they play with that a bit, because it's really quite difficult to make a song flow when you don't just go with the verse, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, outro type thing. But she does it well. Track 9 is ICU. Fun fact, this was released as ICU, as in the words, not the letters, because it was released during the pandemic, so she thought it might be distasteful.
Yeah. I it's weird that it's kept that on the album, and
yeah, I don't know,
releasings. I mean, I think thematically it kind of, when you remove the pandemic aspect of it, I was kind of it's about this guy she dated and how they broke up, and the ICU standing for like intensive care unit.
The relationship is on life support.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But yeah, it makes sense that she would change it for the single release. But yeah, this one really picks back up for me. I think this is a great song. I love, like, it really reminds me every time it starts of the Snow Patrol song "Chocolate," just the guitar on it. But yeah, again, this really picks things back up again. It shows how well paced this album is, which is a really important thing. Again, problem with bad singer-songwriter albums is it's just wall-to-wall slow song.
Yeah, it feels like a drag. Even if the track list isn't particularly long, it's like, oh my god, give me some momentum to get me through.
Which this
it's like when you go for a speed boost in Mario Kart. It's like, woo,
Okay, Jonah is comparing this horribly sad song about a really sad breakup to a speed boost in Mario Kart.
To be fair, Mario Kart is a very sad game that causes a lot of pain and suffering.
It's an angry game.
Exactly. There are some miserable lines on this song, such as my favorite. And I get this feeling whenever I feel good, it'll be the last time. Oh my god. You can't even give yourself this one moment. God damn.
Yeah, that is brutal.
There's some nicer ones though, like the refrain, which is just absolutely gorgeous. It feels like you're floating. It says, "I feel something when I see you now." Throughout the song, she's sort of talking about all the problems in the relationship and all that blah blah blah. But there's still that sort of underlying love that she has for this person, and it bleeds through in the refrain, and I think that's really nice.
It's interesting as well that this song is about the drummer. This is one of the songs that has one of the most apparent and consistent drum beats. Kind of drives that part home.
I wonder if it's the same guy.
I think it is. I think it's he says on it that this guy like helped write the song, which is
that's bold and brave. That's cool.
Weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool. I don't know how they managed that, but fair enough.
But yeah, there's this staggered, like buried screaming, like under it, as if it can't quite.
I didn't notice that. That's cool.
Sorry, this is the one where the intro and the outro kind of directly connect, almost as if the start is it's like laying down on the lawn, and like the kind of middle parts kind of aren't connected, and the outro talks about like climbing through the window, and it's almost like there's this kind of sandwich structure to it, where the beginning and the end are kind of connected.
It's like the beginning and the end of reality, and the middle's like her thoughts in that moment.
Yeah, that's it. That's a much better explanation than my sandwich metaphor.
Yummy sandwich. I think probably my favorite line on this song is I hate your mom. I hate it when she opens her mouth. It's amazing how much you can say when you don't know what you're talking about. Especially during the pandemic, I have realized how much people just guess about stuff they have no education on, and I think it's just
I agree. It's so annoying when people who don't know what they're talking about go and talk about it for ages. Yeah, and whenever they have like a podcast and they feel their thoughts are like worthy of being broadcast on the internet for everyone to hear their opinion.
Couldn't be us.
Couldn't be us.
But yeah, as you say, this one is it picks up the momentum again, and it sort of rejuvenates after a slight low patch.
So I also love the delivery on the I hate it when she opens her mouth. It's not kind of angry. It's just kind of
sassy.
Very stating it.
Yeah.
As fact. But this one is followed by Graceland 2, which is beautiful, 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 beautiful. It has a banjo in it, so because the only person I've ever really listened to that plays a banjo is Sufjan Stevens, so that's immediately who I
actually yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't drawn that connection, but that's definitely there.
But yeah, the banjo has this real kind of homey quality to it.
Oh, like homely. Not homey.
No, sorry, not like the homies.
me and the bros.
No, kind of, welcoming, friendly. The banjo is used quite prominently for the theme of the video game The Outer Wilds.
I need to finish that game, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I just kind of think of being near a fire or safe place with the banjo. It's very welcoming. Yeah.
That
sound
main theme
adds to it.
For that game is just gorgeous.
It is
so good. We are not talking about that. I am going off topic. Yeah, is this song about like her leaving a psych ward or something?
Oh, I think this one was this the one that was made on like MDMA? I think she took drugs.
Yes.
And it was just kind of
possibly
what came out.
Yeah. See, I thought it was about leaving a psych ward because of that initial verse, which says no longer a danger to herself or others. Because obviously you get put in a psych ward if you're in that position where you're a danger to yourself or others. And the the line, she made up her mind and laced up her shoes, and they normally take shoelaces and belts and stuff away from people in a psych ward for obvious reasons. So maybe I'm reading too far into it, but I thought that might have been the case.
No, I have no idea. But yeah, again, a lot of great lyrics on this one. The turn up the music so the thoughts don't intrude is a fantastic line. I think something a lot of people do, and
I kind of do the opposite. That's interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like amp them up, But
wait, what? Amp up your thoughts.
Amp up like I listen. I don't listen to music to induce an emotion. It reflects the emotion I am feeling. So if I'm feeling happy, I'll listen to happy music. If I'm feeling sad, I'll listen to sad music.
So it's not like an escape of something.
No. It's like head into it, which is probably a bad thing. But anyway,
interesting. But yeah, I really like that line. I like I love the "so we spent what was left of our serotonin."
Yeah,
line.
I was just about to say because obviously MDMA, what it does is it dumps all the serotonin in your brain, so you feel really good. But then afterwards, you feel really bad, and that's why you shouldn't do drugs, kids.
And then Lucy Dacus is on this song. She's
who is that?
She's a singer-songwriter as well. She has an album that came out this year that I would really recommend listening to if you like this one. She's in a band with
oh, is she in
Phoebe.
Boy Genius?
Yes, she's in Boy Genius.
Okay. I think they've only released one EP, but I should listen to it.
I haven't listened to them, but fair enough. Again, her vocals on here are really nice, and again, just a really, really good song.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Not quite as beautiful as I Know the End, which is a stunning closer. Stunning.
I mean, this song does have a real melancholy end of the world feel.
Quite literally, yeah. Musically, this is probably the most interesting one on here, in my opinion, because I'm a sucker for like switch moments, whether it's like beat switches, but like the outro to this song just goes into this wonderful crescendo, and the build up to it is amazing with the strings and the horns and a choir, which I'm always down for. We love choirs.
And the screaming. Yeah. Have you seen the videos of like this being played live?
No.
The audience, the videos, I imagine, can no way do it justice to what it's actually like being there, but everyone screams during that moment.
That's awesome.
I'd love to be live for that and hear it.
I doubt she'll tour in the UK though. Sad times. But I just love the whole. This just does feel like it wraps everything up so well. I love that line. Like, not even the burnouts are here anymore. Just the kind of idea of everyone kind of fleeing. That I'll find a new place to be from. Kind of building your own kind of home. Yeah,
a new place to be from.
To be
just the building of everything.
It's one of my favorite lines is 3 clicks and I'm home. Obviously referencing Wizard of Oz and romanticize a quiet life. There's no place like my room. And that's true. Like when you get back to your room after being away, it's just like this immense sense of calm. It's just like this is my space,
Yeah. It's just, it works on every level. I love how crazy the horns get when it's all jazzy. It just transcendent, just that that meme of SpongeBob where his soul leaves his body. Yeah, that's how this song feels.
I love just the sort of duality of obviously she mentions the not conspiracies, but she mentioned chemtrails and Chinese satellites and whatnot. So the line "the end is near" that's sort of belted towards the end with the state the world's in. It does literally feel like the end of the world is coming, but also just because of the end of the album, I think that's a nice duality.
Totally agree. Works brilliantly. So yeah, that's it. That was the album.
It was good. If you didn't listen to it, you should. And I don't know why you listened to this.
Yeah, this is one of the best albums that came out last year. I've listened to it a whole bunch.
That is certified album check.
If you do like this album, highly recommend Lucy Dacus's album. What's it called? It's called like Home Video, I think. Let me check that. Home Video by Lucy Dacus.
I will, definitely.
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
We having a little bit of a break for
okay.
Christmas.
Yes, there's going to be a Christmas break. We'll probably come back and we will do our top 5 songs of 2021.
Yeah.
As a wee
it's going to be good fun.
Special.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it from us. Thanks for listening.
See ya. Bye.
Please tell your friends. And that's it.
Goodbye.
Bye.